If your mind is not working for you, it's working against you. That's the truth. Every single day, your thoughts are either building your life or quietly tearing it down. And the people who reach success, real, lasting, meaningful success, aren't necessarily the ones who have more talent or more time. They're the ones who've learned how to think differently. They've trained their minds to stay focused on the right things. They've chosen to respond with action instead of excuses, clarity instead of confusion, and commitment instead of comfort. The reason most people never get what they want is because they keep waiting for motivation. They keep hoping for better conditions. But the ones who move forward don't wait for the perfect moment. They build it. They start where they are, and they train themselves to think in a way that drives their actions forward. That's a productive mindset. And once you develop it, it becomes your engine. You no longer rely on moods. You stop being a slave to distraction. You stop wasting time doing things that go nowhere. You take control of your day before the world gets a chance to control you. If you've ever felt stuck, if you've ever wondered why things don't seem to change even though you want them to, the answer is usually this: your mind is full, but it's not focused. You're busy, but you're not productive. You're working, but not moving. And nothing is more frustrating than giving your energy to things that don't reward you. That's why changing your mindset is not just helpful, it's necessary. Today is not just another day. It's another chance to shift how you think, to stop being distracted by things that don't matter, and to start becoming the kind of person who follows through. You don't need to be perfect to make progress. You just need to be clear, consistent, and disciplined. If you're tired of spinning your wheels, if you want to feel momentum, direction, purpose, you have to start with how you think. This video is about rewiring your thinking so your time works for you, not against you. It's about building the kind of mental habits that pull you towards success, even when you're tired, even when you're uncertain, even when no one's watching. The goal is to get better every day, not once in a while. And that starts with your mind. So if you're ready to stop feeling stuck, if you're ready to replace overwhelm with progress and replace distraction with clarity, this is where it begins. This is how you develop a more productive mindset. One decision at a time, one thought at a time, one disciplined action at a time. Part 1, train your mind to focus on solutions, not problems. You can't move forward if your mind is always stuck on what's wrong. If you wake up thinking about problems, go through your day talking about them, and end your night complaining about them, your energy will always stay low. Your actions will be small. Your goals will feel out of reach, and your progress, it will stop before it even starts. A productive life begins in the mind, and a productive mind doesn't waste time circling the same worries over and over. It shifts, it learns, it moves. Most people spend hours thinking about what they don't have, what they can't control, what went wrong yesterday. They repeat stories in their heads that keep them powerless. They speak as if they're stuck. They look for others to blame. The longer they live in that pattern, the harder it gets to see any path forward. They're not lazy. They're just trained by years of habit to focus on problems instead of solutions. If that's you, it's time to retrain your thinking, because nothing will change on the outside until you change what's happening on the inside. You don't need a perfect situation. You don't need every answer right now. What you need is the mental habit of asking a better question. When something goes wrong, instead of falling into why me or what now, you need to ask, what can I do about this? That single question shifts everything. It forces your brain to stop replaying the same issue and start finding a step forward. Even a small step can change your energy completely. And that shift in energy is where real productivity begins. When you train your mind to focus on solutions, you get time back, you get peace back, you gain control, because your time and energy no longer go to things you can't change. They go into action, into progress, into results. And over time, your results create confidence. Confidence fuels more action, and that cycle builds a mindset that's strong, focused, and unstoppable. Now, this doesn't mean you ignore your problems or pretend they don't exist. That would be foolish. It means you stop staying stuck in them. You stop replaying what went wrong and start learning from it. You stop pointing fingers and start taking responsibility. You stop feeling sorry for yourself and start working on what you can do next. Productive people don't avoid problems. They outgrow them. This mental shift isn't natural at first, especially if you spent years being surrounded by negativity. You might have been raised around people who always worried, always complained, always feared the worst. That kind of mindset is contagious, but it's not permanent. You can break it. You can rewrite the way you think, day by day, decision by decision. And the best part is, once you start living this way, you'll start attracting more clarity, better results, and even better people into your life. If you want to train your mind to focus on solutions, start paying attention to how you talk to yourself. Notice your first thought when something doesn't go your way. Do you panic? Do you shut down? Do you blame others? Or do you pause and ask, what's the next best thing I can do right now? That one moment of self-awareness can change everything. It gives you back your power. Start looking at every situation, even the hard ones, as a chance to grow stronger. When your plans fall apart, there's always something to learn. When someone lets you down, there's a lesson about trust, boundaries, or your own judgment. When life gets hard, that's not a reason to give up. It's a reason to level up. Train yourself to see it that way. And suddenly life becomes less about what's wrong and more about what's possible. Some days will still test you. That's life. There will be problems you didn't expect, delays you didn't plan for, people who disappoint you, but even then you have a choice. You can focus on the setback, or you can focus on the solution. You can talk about how bad it is, or you can start fixing it. One direction keeps you stuck. The other moves you forward. A productive mindset isn't about always being happy or pretending everything's fine. It's about staying clear, staying calm, and staying committed to action. When your mind is trained to look for what can be done instead of what went wrong, your whole life starts to move faster. You stop wasting time on drama. You stop doubting yourself so much. You stop waiting for perfect timing. You just start doing the next right thing, and the next right thing after that. And that's how progress is made. Start today. From the moment you wake up, guide your thoughts. Don't just drift through the day reacting to things. Take control. Choose what deserves your attention. Focus on the tasks that build your future. Look at your schedule and ask, is this helping me grow? And if the answer is no, change it. Get rid of the habits that waste your time. Cut off the conversations that pull you back. Distance yourself from the noise that clouds your thinking. The most successful people don't avoid challenges. They've just developed a better way of thinking through them. They don't waste time talking about how unfair life is. They spend their energy on creating the life they want. They stay productive because they know that focusing on problems keeps you locked in place, but focusing on solutions moves you forward. That's a habit anyone can build. It starts with awareness, grows through repetition, and becomes a mindset that leads to success. You already have everything you need to begin. You have the mind, you have the strength, you have the time. What you do with it now is what matters. Make the choice today to stop giving your energy to problems and start giving it to solutions. The more you do it, the easier it becomes. And before you know it, your thoughts change, your actions follow, and your entire life starts to reflect that mindset. This is where your growth begins. Not tomorrow, not someday. Today, decide to focus forward, decide to act. Decide to build a mind that works for you, not against you. That's how you become productive. That's how you move forward. That's how you change your life. Part 2. Start each day with purpose and intention. You wake up, the body feels heavy or the mind foggy. You might not feel like moving yet, but this moment, early in the morning, holds the greatest opportunity of the day. Starting with purpose creates a tone that carries through every hour. When you rise with intention, you set a direction. You don't drift. Instead, you walk into the day clear, calm, and ready to act. Imagine stepping into a room with sunlight pouring through the window. You breathe in fresh air. You feel the warmth on your skin. That sense of freshness can become part of your daily routine, inside and out. You open your eyes and you know what mattered. When your priorities are in place before the world wakes up, your focus grows, your confidence grows. The next thing you choose to do is no longer random, it becomes deliberate. Waking with intention doesn't require long rituals. It means choosing at least one thing every morning that matters to you. What is your most important task today? What will make you feel proud at the end of the day? When you decide that first, the rest of your actions fall into place. Your energy stays aligned with your goal. Starting with purpose also quiets the noise. When you begin the day, clear in your own mind. Distractions fade. Social media, messages, other people's demands, they no longer shatter your focus. You move with intent instead of reaction. You're guided by your plan, not by what others expect. Many say they don't have time for purpose in the morning, but time is not the issue. Priority is 30 seconds of clarity can change how you spend your whole day. You don't need to write a book, you just need to pause, breath in, decide what matters most, then move with that in mind. From that one decision, progress begins. Each action after that becomes easier. You're no longer battling uncertainty. You already know what counts. That anchor point gives you strength to refuse what doesn't support your vision. You stop wasting energy on things that don't move you ahead. And in that space, productivity isn't forced, it's natural. This habit makes every other habit stronger. Discipline, learning, focus, reflection, they all start with how you begin. If you begin weak, everything follows. If you begin well, everything builds. Your day becomes meaningful. Instead of petty and noisy, purpose also connects you to something larger, a vision, a growth pattern, a reason to keep going. When you remember why you're doing what you're doing, it changes how you respond when challenges appear. Energy rises. Commitment deepens. You keep going even if the rest of the world doubts. And the best part, you can build this habit starting today. You don't need perfection, you just need clarity. A single question when you open your eyes, what matters most today? Then anchor your actions around that. That simple question acts like a compass. It guides your energy and shapes your mindset. Over time, this becomes who you are. You don't wake up lost or reactive, you wake up focused and aligned. You don't drift through days hoping something good happens. You purposefully build something good every day. That's how meaningful progress is shaped, by starting each morning with intention. Part 3, surround yourself with discipline and positivity. Surrounding your mind with discipline and positivity shapes what's possible every day. If you wake up and immediately swipe through negative headlines or spend time with people who only talk about complaints, your energy gets drained before you even begin. Your thoughts slow down, your mindset shrinks. If you want productivity, start by choosing what and who you let into your mind. Consider this, your brain acts like a filter. When you fill it with doubt, fear, and worry, everything you see through that filter becomes small or impossible. Chances feel limited, options feel risky, mistakes feel permanent. But when your filter is filled with discipline, encouragement, helpfulness, and respect for yourself, you begin to think bigger. You see paths and solutions instead of walls and threats. People who succeed maintain their mental habits around support and structure. They lock in routines, morning clarity, learning time, healthy movement. They choose voices that elevate them instead of tear them down. They don't spend hours listening to gossip or comforting self-pity. They align their input with their goals and values. This isn't about being perfect or ignoring reality. It's about choosing where to focus your attention. It's about actively selecting the voices, messages, and behaviors that reinforce your belief in yourself and your future. Discipline doesn't end with action. It begins with what you expose your mind to. Imagine walking into a space filled with encouragement rather than criticism. Your heart lifts, your mind sharpens, you breathe easier. That's the effect of positive mental habits. It doesn't mean ignoring challenges. It means meeting them stronger and staying centered in belief. Not excitement, belief. If you want real productivity, you must build a mental environment around it. That means limited negativity, clear routines, consistent inputs, books, mentors, music, or podcasts that align with your goals. Habits that support your growth rather than distract you from it. When your environment speaks growth, your actions follow suit. The trick is to start small. Replace one negative source with something that builds you up. Swap just 1 hour of complaining conversation for reading or listening that inspires. Choose one time each day to reflect quietly about how far you've come rather than what went wrong. Decision by decision, you shift your mindset. A small choice to protect your mental environment becomes a pattern. Those patterns become routines, and those routines become the backbone of a mindset that leads. When challenges hit, and they will, your mind will not shut down under pressure. You won't panic or spiral. Instead, you'll stay focused, you'll respond, not react. You'll move forward with clarity instead of losing time to self-doubt. Productivity isn't just about doing more, it's about doing the right things from a place of strength and clarity. And that place is created when your mind is grounded in discipline and filled with positivity. So from today, pay attention to what you expose yourself to. Guard your mental space. Keep what helps you grow. Remove what holds you back. Build habits that elevate you. When your mental environment supports your goals, your mindset becomes productive, even when life doesn't go as planned. That's how you train your mind to be powerful. Not by forcing motivation every day, but by building a foundation that makes progress natural, consistent, and unstoppable. Part 4, replace excuses with action steps. Excuses are easy. They don't take time, discipline, or courage. They don't demand results. They give comfort, but only for a moment. Then what follows is regret, self-doubt, and wasted potential. If you want a more productive mindset, you have to make a firm decision to stop using excuses as a hiding place. Every time you say, "I'll do it later," or "I don't have the tools," or "it's not the right time," you put off the one thing that would actually move your life forward: action. The difference between progress and stagnation often comes down to a single thought. Do I take this step, or do I wait for it to be easier? Most people wait. They wait for motivation. They wait until they feel ready. But readiness doesn't come from thinking. It comes from doing. Action is what builds momentum. Action is what creates clarity. Action is what pushes fear out of the way. Excuses only feel safe in the moment, but over time they rob you. They steal your hours, your energy, and your growth. They protect your ego for a short time, but destroy your confidence long term. If you say, "I can't" enough times, you start to believe it. That belief becomes a habit, and that habit becomes your reality. Now here's what productive people do differently. They start before they feel perfect. They show up when they don't know all the answers. They take responsibility even when they're tired. They don't waste time explaining why something isn't possible. They use that time to figure out how to take one more step forward. It's not about being fearless. It's about edge while the fear is still there and not making excuses for it. You want to be productive? Then replace your excuses with action steps. Take what you were going to say as a reason not to start and flip it into a plan. "I don't have time" becomes "I'll schedule 20 minutes. "I'm not good at it" becomes "I'll start with what I know." "I'm not motivated" becomes "I'll take one small action anyway." When you act, you send a message to your brain. "I'm serious about this." And when your brain sees that you follow through, even on small steps, your self-respect grows, your confidence grows, and over time, your productivity becomes automatic because it's based on discipline, not emotion. You won't always feel ready. That's the truth. But action is not about how you feel. It's about what you decide. And every time you act instead of excuse, you change the direction of your life. You make your habits stronger than your fears. You make your effort louder than your doubts. You stop telling stories that hold you back and start writing a new one with your behavior. It's not about being harsh with yourself. It's about being honest. If something matters, you make space for it. You find the next step. You take ownership. That's what separates a wish from a plan and a plan from a result. The moment you replace an excuse with an action step, you gain control again, and that's the moment real growth begins. So start today. Not when it's easy, not when it's convenient. Now, take that thing you've been putting off and take one step toward it. Just one. Then do it again tomorrow. And again the next day. Each time you act instead of excuse, you train your mind to be stronger, sharper, and more focused. This is the mindset that changes lives. Not because it avoids failure, but because it stops making excuses for staying the same. Part 5, stay committed, even when you don't feel like it. When you're chasing something meaningful, there will always be moments when your motivation fades. You'll wake up some days and not feel like working. You'll have times when the progress feels invisible, when the energy you used to have just isn't there, and when the voices in your head start asking, what's the point? These are the moments that test everything, and how you respond to them is what will shape your future. Most people only work when they feel like it. They show up when it's exciting, when it's fresh, when the reward feels close. But the ones who actually move forward every day are the ones who stay committed even when the feelings are gone. Discipline steps in when motivation walks out. That's the key. Not energy, not inspiration. Discipline. Staying committed means you don't treat your goals like they're optional. You don't take a break from your future because today feels hard. You keep showing up, even if the progress is small, even if no one is clapping, even if the voice in your head tells you to stop, because you understand that growth doesn't come from doing what's easy. It comes from doing what's necessary, especially when it's hard. You build a productive mindset by deciding that your effort is non-negotiable. You don't wait to be in the mood. You don't hope for the perfect conditions. You commit to the action regardless of how you feel. And over time, your feelings start to follow your actions. You train yourself to show up no matter what. That's how self-respect grows. That's how your habits get strong. That's how you become someone who follows through. The truth is, life won't always hand you the right mood, the right schedule, or the perfect environment. You won't always have the luxury of inspiration. That's why your commitment must be stronger than your excuses, stronger than your distractions, stronger than your emotions. If you only act when it feels easy, you'll only grow as far as your comfort zone lets you. But if you act when it's difficult, you rise above everyone who waits for perfect moments. You want to be more productive? Start with this rule. Show up anyway. If you feel tired, show up and give what you can. If you're frustrated, show up and focus. If you feel like quitting, show up and do one more small thing. The goal is not to be perfect. The goal is to be consistent, and consistency builds identity. Each time you push through a hard moment, you're rewriting your own story. You're proving that you are capable of doing what others won't. That's where strength is built, in the silence, in the repetition, in the discipline of daily action. People often ask, how do I stay committed when I feel like giving up? The answer is simple. Even if it's not easy, you reconnect with your reason. You remember why you started. You remind yourself that short-term discomfort is nothing compared to long-term regret. And then you get back to work. Even on the days when it's messy. Even on the days when your effort feels invisible. Even when no one notices, because those are the days that count the most. Not the easy ones, not the loud ones, but the quiet days, the disciplined days, the days you decide that your future is worth more than your feelings. Every action you take builds a foundation. Every choice you make either brings you closer or pushes you further away. And once you understand that, you stop relying on moods and start relying on discipline. That's the mindset that leads to results. That's how progress becomes permanent. That's how greatness is built. Not all at once, but one committed day at a time. You're not chasing perfection. You're chasing progress. And progress lives in the moments when most people stop. Your breakthrough might not come when you're full of energy. It might come right after you were about to quit, but you stayed anyway. So stay with it, commit, and don't break that promise to yourself. That's how you build a productive mindset. That's how you change your life.